Today, Professor S.K. Varshne, former advisor DST, New Delhi, is with us now. He is likely to give his lecture on preparing proposals, tips for improving chances of success. Professor Varshne has a vast academic achievement and journey. His core competency include international collaboration, science diplomacy, international navigation, sustainable development goals, gender equality and STEM, and Himalayan geology. From BSc through DSc, he has navigated to various universities of India. In between, he has completed his MSc, MPhil, doctorate also. He has been serving as Scientist G, International Division, Department of Science and Technology, and Scientist F, International Division, Department of Science and Technology, Counselor, Embassy of India, Moscow, Scientist F, International Division, Department of Science and Technology, and then Senior Scientific Officer, International Division, Department of Science and Technology. With all these achievements, he had a humble start as lecturer, Department of Geology, Kurukshetra University, way back in 1990. Got a lot of awards and honors too. He's a gold medalist for standing first in MSc at Aligarh Muslim University in 1984. He's also a JRF scholar, UGC NET JRF scholar in the year 1985. And he also won Dr. D.N. Wadia Research Fellowship for Research in Himalayan Geology in 1986. Above all, he has won the award Save the Environment Fellowship in the year 2022. It is an honor for us to have you here, sir. Now I hand over the session to Professor Varshne. Thank you.
Vanakkam. Good morning. So, thank you. I think I have been asked to talk to you on two aspects. And as we all know, that as academicians, in addition to the teaching, the most important reflection is what new knowledge you have generated, what new publications you have made. And today, I would be concentrating on two parts. One, what are the different schemes, which I'll speak little later. But right now, I'll speak on how to write proposals. As we all know, the process is quite competitive. And I can guide you, I could help you only in improving 10%. Remaining 90% has to be your own subject. But as we all know, that each number matters. So this kind of sharpening, what are the different considerations, how you can really make your proposal competitive, I hope would help you in a way. Can we have it? Presentation, please. Yeah. First is just to give you a picture. Of course, we have our secretary here who know how difficult it is to get into the civil services. But sir, even in science, it is quite difficult. And I'll give you success rate of some of these schemes, not all these schemes, just to have a look. For example, national postdoctoral fellowships. So success rate is less than 7%. So the amount of proposal we receive. So for every 100 proposal, 93 proposal we are thanking. So you can imagine what is the rate of success. Early career research grant, this is a proposal right now open and we can discuss little later. Success rate is again around 8%. Advanced research grant, which is basically one of the most premier program, success rate is 5%. BIREC, which provides industrial grants, 8%. Nimitli, also industrial grant, 4%. Inclusivity research grant, which is especially for the weaker section, that has got highest 20%. Again, industrial grant 10%. Now coming to your students, it is just 3 to 5%. So you can see you are still better off as compared to the young students. So competition is there, and if you see IIT, less than 1%. Okay, even NIT, less than 1.1%. So you can imagine the kind of competition we have got, and it is important for you to be focused, to be objective, so that you could really mix. Now, while most of the schemes are open, there are areas where government would like you to work, and these are called targeted areas, where success rate is little better. Overall success is around 7%, but different schemes, so we'll discuss. Now, when we are talking about success, again, the lion's share goes to premier institutions. So, when we are talking about premier institution, most of them are taken by IISc or IITs. But then you see the bottom list, even other students, other institutes are making it. So whether poor success rate should be a reason to worry, and I would say no. We need a better approach, and we can all make it. It's nothing that impossible. It is only a question of our approach, and how we can do it, we'll just see. First of all, we should ask ourselves a question: why any research funding agency should give us money? And if I could put it much simpler, I guess all of you are parents, and do you agree to all the demands by your children? And you will say that no. Because there are two things you are looking at: whether demands of your child is genuine, logical, and needed. And second, you would like to see your pocket. Can you afford it? Because even if it is genuine, but if your pocket doesn't allow it, then you can't do it. Same is true of the funding agencies. For each scheme, they have limited money, which they have identified. Only that much grant could be made. And they would like to see if they should invest that money on you. So you need to raise that kind of confidence in them, that yes, I have made such and such proposal, I have made such and such commitment, and I am going to do it. Okay, and we will see little later how we can do it. So first we should understand what is the decision path. So normally when you are submitting the proposal, after that it goes to level 1 scrutiny. Scrutiny is primarily done by the funding agency, by their officials, without involving others. Second stage is referring. It means proposal goes to the fellows who understand your subjects, who are working in close proximity to your area. These people could make remarks. It could be observations, it could be queries, it could be questions, it could be a statement that your philosophy is not good. Okay, any kind of remark they can make, but they cannot take decision. They can only make recommendations. And then it comes to the third group, which is called reviewing. Now, there is a difference between referring and reviews. Referring is done independently by experts in their own office, their own comfort. But when review is done, it's a group of people who will discuss referee's remarks and then make a collective opinion. They may not be from immediate proximal area of your research, but they understand the logic, they understand what is required to be done in your area, and things like that. and they will take a decision. And then again, when they take decision, they will not say yes or no. They will only say priority 1, priority 2, priority 3, priority 4. So who takes the decision? The funding agency. Because they know how much money they have got in their pocket and what they have to do. So I just thought I'll just give you an idea. Let us discuss each of the stage. So what is happening in the scrutiny of the process? First is, it is checked if you have followed the guidelines, you are eligible, and you have done required processing, like forwarding by your institutions, any particular document that has been required to be attached, it is there or not. So all those kind of things are done. And then we are looking for plagiarism and AI. What happens, many of us feel comfortable to give our idea to some of the AI tools and then just put it. It's not good, because then even if your idea is original, you would be caught here. And there are processes, we could see how much is AI written and how much is written by you. Similarly, we can check for the plagiarism. So normally we recommend not more than 8% should be plagiarized. So you can take some idea, some statement, but not fully. So you need to see how to come out of that. We also check track record, which means if you had done some research projects earlier, what was your performance? What were your promises? What did you deliver? Did you comply with the requirement of the funding agency? It's something like your CIBIL rating. If you take a housing loan, then your rating is maintained. If you are repaying on time, your CIBIL rating will go high. But if you are not doing needful on time, then CIBIL rating may come down. So same way, funding agency would like to see what was your previous performance. And if you have done good, it's fantastic. So what happens? You will see several portals which will say your application has moved to the next stage. Okay. And only shortlisted application would go to next round. Not every application, not every proposal is moving to round 2. Only shortlisted one are going. Now let us see what referees or reviewers are doing. They are going to see many, many applications. Okay. And they would like to compare. So we are trying that they should compare apple to apple, not apple to oranges. Okay. Because so we are giving them similar, roughly similar subjects, but they see large number of applications, and obviously they would like to take something what they are happy. And if they are happy, they becomes your advocate. They give you marks, numerical marks, qualitative marks, and then you know how it is being done. So I have taken this picture. In fact, I thought I could put a better caption like love at first sight, but it is something like that. When reviewers are reading your proposal, if they are not getting interested by your title and objectives, they may not read complete application. So it need to be the first attempt. That title should be catchy enough, clear enough, and objectives should be well explained. And of course, because there is a call made for a particular purpose, referee would like to see, are you meeting that call objectives at the first thing. So title should be clear, objective should be sharp, purposeful. You know why we are putting that objectives. Methodology, logic should be explained. Why have you opted for a particular approach road and how you are going to do it. Illustration should be there. You know, illustration helps. Now, all of you are teachers. Suppose your student have written 4-page answer. Do you read all 4 pages? No. You try to read in between. You try to read what is the opener. Okay, same way referees would also like to do it. So, and of course, in between, if a student has drawn a picture, you would like to see picture first. So, illustrations help. And then, of course, organization of thought. So, if you could take care of that, if your proposal remain objective and purposeful, and keep reader excited enough. So, we should know why the call was made, what way you have written, and how things are going forward. So, there are things referees would like to check. The first thing is originality. Okay, so people would like to see originality. So, lot of you get wonderful idea, and these idea comes at different times. Some people get ideas in the laboratories. Some people get idea on the dining table. Some people get wonderful idea on the beds. Some people in the washroom. But that idea needs to be nurtured. You need to see how should I further polish that idea. Now, as I said little ago, you can use AI tool. There is no problem. But after using AI tool, you should come back to your original self. After reading AI solution, write yourself. Whatever you can observe from that. So, idea is yours. You have taken the help of some tools, but then again come back to your ideas. Sorry. The second one is methodology. As I said, people are not interested in detailed methodology, but they are looking for approach route, how you are building up. Is it logical? Is it feasible? Can you do it? And then you should have a good idea how to analyze data. And then obviously referees would like to see what is your target goal. What do you want to achieve? These days, referees would like to see something beyond generation of knowledge. Generation of knowledge means publications. But how those new knowledge is going to be useful. So several times you may even have a question, are you addressing any sustainable development goals? Whether your research is good for society, whether your research is good for industries. Okay, so you need to be purposeful. Now, when we are writing proposals, there are 3 major types. One is basic research. In some other language, we say TRL 1 to TRL 3. Okay, here idea is to improve upon existing knowledge. And you can do it, you can publish papers. We are looking for high-end publications, index journal. But when it comes to delivery to the society, we are not looking to do any science from you. We are looking how scientific results you are converting to develop products good for society. So there we are looking for more of demonstration projects, service to the society. For example, if in an area water is contaminated and you have corrected it, but who will do large scale deployment? So you need to work with municipality, pick at least one area where your water treated with your solutions is supplied, and then municipality would like to see the result. And if they are happy, they will deliver it in the other area. So what I'm trying to say, no publication is not required, but you need to convert results of scientific research for the good of society. And then third thing is when you are looking for product oriented research. This in other language, we are saying TRL 4 to 7. You need to prove how your research is good and why market should adopt it. So you need to survive. There is a beautiful term called valley of death. You need to pass through that. Of course, my colleague would tell you a little more about that in a later day. But when you are writing proposal, you need to understand it fully why you are writing it. So you should write only for one purpose at a time, whether for basic science, societal science or industrial science. Now, what are the features of a good project? Now, there are several things referees would like to see. Obviously, the first one is novelty, originality, what you intend to do. And if you could explain that through some scientific gaps, why research is required in that area, that makes it simple. Second thing is, your language should be communicative. Because if your idea remains with you, nobody will appreciate it. Your idea must be conveyed to the others. So you should use a language which is good enough to convey. Several times we have seen people are using jargons, making it complex. So many if and buts or so many conditions. Please don't do that. Make it as simple as possible. Simple thing is it should be communicated. And third, as I said a little ago, relevance. Relevance is very important. Why you are doing that research? Just put a question, what will happen if I don't do this research? And if you feel that you can make some change, then your research is more purposeful. Most discretionary thing in any research proposal is the belief referees could have in your competency. So for that purpose, they would like to see your previous track record. They would like to see what were your earlier work. And by that, they would like to see what are the equipment you are exposed to, what are the domain area you are exposed to, and on that basis, they would try to make an assessment whether you understand the proposed subject well or not. The second thing is, they would also like to see you as a researcher. What is your stature as a researcher? If you have published in good index journal, Q1, Q2, maybe Q3, you are a very good worker. But if you have published in Q4, if you have published only in a local journal, you are a researcher. But if you have published only in workshop conferences, if you have published only in non-index or predatory journal, then they are not going to consider. You know, that becomes one of the weakest point. So please, my request to all of you is, please publish in index journal. That is something all of us must take a pledge, whether it is Scopus, whether it is Web of Science or any other index which your subject follows. Please make sure that your work is not wasted. Your work must be counted. And then they would like to see that within given setup, can you do the proposed research? Is it feasible? And if you could showcase them, they would also like to see what is the time you are taking for different activities. And when you go for presentation, they would like to see your personal enthusiasm. You know, this is something very important. Many times when you are invited for presentation, more than your subject, referees are looking at your body language. How much it supports your idea. And how do you entertain different questions which may or may not be in that area to that committee. So please don't get panicked. Be calm, be affirmative, and try to respond to their queries in a very, very pleasant way. And then they are looking if you have read the literature. Now, reading the literature, these days lot of tools are available, and you can get registered on one of the social media. When I say social media, it means research social media, which is primarily Google Scholar, ResearchGate, Scopus, any of them. How it is helpful? Suppose you put your research interest on those platforms. They will immediately start bombarding any work done by anywhere and published in a refereed journal. So it will be on your screen, and you have immediately good idea. Suppose you want to do literature survey. You look for, give some keywords, it will give you some of the archaic journals, some of the latest journals, and then you can compare. So please make use of that. And of course, promises you are going to make, that is important. Now, when we are talking about scientific novelty, people are looking for sharp objectives. Why such project is needed, that is very important. And you need to clearly establish the gap, research gap. If that is possible, that helps. Purpose of the research, how innovative you are, what are the new things you are trying to do, how you are approaching an old problem with newer technologies, newer approaches. That is something we are looking at. And then, in case you are working for a product, you have to see why your product is useful. Is it more economical? Is it more easy to use? Is it based on the resources available locally so that we can have, for example, I'll tell you, currently we are using phone made up of using lithium-ion batteries, but we don't have lithium. So people are working on another kind of battery materials. Okay, so we need to see what are something which is locally available. So, as I said, the first part, good quality of a project is innovation. There are several definitions, but I would say one which is possible with technology, required by the people, and if you could take it to the market, that is something if you can do, that would be good enough. So we know what is required and what is viable. Identification of problem is key thing. Of course, each one of you, based on your domain knowledge, you know what is the different challenges, but always bank on your own personal strength, because then you will know it is my responsibility. Suppose you are given a project, it's your responsibility to complete it. And if, as I said earlier, for the purpose of communication, idea from paper need to go to the model, and from model to the laboratory. So that is something you need to do it. So, as I said little earlier, always ask a question, why we should do this project. So this is a picture taken for treatment of some citizen in Africa continent, and they need to be given vaccines. So if you see here, the purpose is socio-economic, environment, climate, bionic, and institutional. On the other hand, we are looking for capacity for building human capacities, community resilience, and of course, establishing a product. Okay, so we need to see a particular research, what all it can do. And we need to explain each possible aspect of that thing. Now, in case idea is good, the second question comes, why you should do it? Why some other fellow should not do it? So, referee would like to say that, do you understand the area? Do you understand the question very well? And as I said, they will bank on your previous work for that. So, you need to demonstrate your capacity in that your own domain, and then you need to see how they could accredit you with that area. And researcher, what kind I mean? Where have you published? You are a high quality researcher, low quality researchers, something like that. And then one of the thing is, they ask themselves, based on the observation, that can you do it? It is, again, let me take help of CIBIL. So suppose you go to take home loan. What does bank manager sees? Bank manager sees only two things: your CIBIL score and your salary slip. And then try to make an assessment. What would be your repaying capacity? And based on that repaying capacity, how much loan you could be given. So similarly here, referees would like to assess your potential. How good you are a researcher, what is your domain knowledge, and based on that, can you do it? Third thing is, your idea is good, you have a capacity, but can you do it? Do you have required infrastructure? Do you have resources? Okay, this is something you need to demonstrate in your applications. Like when you are defining what you would like to do, you need to say what kind of experiments you would like to do. And where would you like to do, whether you have those facilities in-house. Sometimes it is possible that all the required facilities are not in your own universities. In that case, you should know where are those. And you need to make a preliminary tie-up that in case I need to carry out this experiment, I can use your facilities. People give you permission, but those permission may come with some conditions. Come after 3 months. You need to pay so much money to use our facility. If you make me co-author in a paper, you can use my facility. So there could be different kind of understanding, but you need to reach because you have to complete the project. So you should know if those facilities are in-house, fantastic. But if you need to bank upon some other institution, you should have some understanding how you are going to utilize those facilities. Then is professional approach. You know, several times we are too casual. I'm sorry, I'm using that's a strong word, but researchers, because they are so deep in their ideas, they forget simple things like indexing. They make referees search for information. They'll say, already explained. But where did you explain? That you are not mentioning. Can you make illustrations? Can you make a sketch? You know, people would like to see it more. So structure and presentation is very important. Of course, clarity of thought, organization of thought, that is something you need to be very, very clear and focused. You need to have good idea what earlier worker have done and what new thing you are going to do. Have you placed adequate references? And as I said, please don't forget legacy references and latest references, because that is something people would like to see. Are you up to date? That is something you, and then maintain the scope of work. Please know what all you are supposed to do. Now, there are some simple things. For example, formatting. Very often we forget these things. We feel our system will take care, but then if you could make it, it looks a little more professional. And then you need to do proofreading and editing. Proofreading can be done by the machine. So these are something very common. But editing is yours. Okay. Again, piece of advice, don't use AI tool here, because then you would be caught. Because each one of us, suppose same presentation you are making, you will make it in a different way. So you need to see how to put focus on style, clarity, logic, and organize. So if you can do that, that really helps. And then please note, each scheme has a different format. Why? Because each scheme is unique in its own way. So maybe 70% or 80% of the questions asked are common, but 30% are different. And because referees have to read many proposals, so it would be good if you use format for that particular scheme. Sorry. And then each scheme is unique. We call it USP. USP is a more popular term, but for your purpose, try to understand why a scheme has been floated. What is the purpose? For example, currently there are few schemes floating. I'll tell you. One is Prime Minister Early Career Research Grant. Now this is focused only for early career researchers. Senior fellow need not to apply. And you need to justify why this is unique. On the other hand, there is another call running right now. What AI can do for science and engineering. There you need to put focus on application of AI for improvement of science or engineering to understand how we rely on those subjects. So you need to remember what I'm trying to say, why that scheme has been raised, put that thing primarily. So even when you are setting the objective, you should know this was the purpose of the call and this is how I should do it. Of course, there are several documents which are required. I think many of you know these things, but depending upon the guidelines given in the format, please see what is all required and please submit that. Now, once you have done, funding agency will give it to referees and referees will give qualitative and quantitative analysis assessment. Qualitative assessment, they may raise some questions. Quantitative assessment, they will score you on a scale. Normally, odd number of referees are taken. Why odd number? Because suppose even number is there and there is a difference of opinion, so it could be a problem. We are also looking if there is a major or minor difference in the opinion of referees. In case one of them is going on an extreme, funding agency may go for additional referee. So it may take a little longer, but the idea is to give you more balanced opinion on the proposal. Now these are several points on which scoring could be done. Okay, and these points could be either on a scale of 1 to 10 or 1 to 100 depending upon how funding agency would like it to be. But assuming they are 100 scale, so project objective, scientific novelty, methodology, purposefulness, implications to society, personal strength of PI, infrastructure resources, ready to be implemented, targeted outcomes. In case it's a collaborative project, then why that project is taken. These are primary considerations. Some minor consideration is given, where are you working, if you need to be given promotion based on gender or geography, that could be considered. For example, you come from Northeast region, then you may be given preference. But now since Principal Secretary is sitting here, sir, problem is we see it from center in terms of state. So Tamil Nadu is doing very good. But if you see Tamil Nadu, more than 50% of the central research grant is consumed by IIT. One institute. Remaining grant goes to some more select institution, but most of the institution remain dry. And as far as center is concerned, they feel Tamil Nadu is getting due credit. So we need to see, I'm just putting it for your knowledge that there is a problem in understanding at central level, state level, and then of course at institutional level. So it's not important to be good. It is important to be very good, because it is a very, very competitive process. As I showed you in the earlier, only 1 out of 10 will get it. So all recommended proposal, even if referees have recommended, they may not find favor because resources are limited. So one need to score on each point. So it is suggested that you should make the project more purposeful, be self-critical, and most important is never give up. There are always better opportunities available to you. Try and try until you succeed. There is, I can say with 100% confidence, if you don't give up, you will succeed. That's the mantra. So now I'll give you my own suggestion. These are personal suggestions, nothing official. So one is writing. So when you are writing, be concise, be focused, remain purposeful. Don't use so many full stop, comma, conditions. Don't make anybody chase for your information. This is something you should do. And based on our observations, what we have realized, the common mistake is people make so many promises. You know, if you define the word project in English, it primarily means that you are going to project any particular thing. So only one focus. At the most, you can have 2 focused, but not more than that. There could be several smaller sub-focus, but main objective should be one. Second, you should know that you have given sufficient documentation to the reviewers to understand your potential. Don't say my H index is this, so I can do this. My I-10 index is this. No. You need to make them confident that you can do it. There should not be a hidden cost. Most important is, this is my personal experience. Most of the proposal will come on the last day. And these days, because submission is online, line get choked because of limited broadband. So do it well on time. And several platforms will allow you to do corrections. Suppose you have submitted and you would like to do correction, they will allow you. But if you submit it on the last moment, it is impossible. One more thing you must understand. The moment you press submit button, thereafter no editing is allowed. So you can prepare document on the portal, keep it on the portal, keep editing until you are satisfied. But the moment you press submit button, your rights are withdrawn. So before pressing the submit button, please take a copy, because you should know what you have to defend. Be ambitious but realistic. So it is good to be ambitious, but you should know the proposals are in your proven area. Proposals are not very much different area. And if you are migrating to a different area, either go for collaboration or at least have proof of concepts. And then what is your science? That is your word thing. So you need to write content. Now only thing is, you have to make it purposeful. Okay, objective. Continuity should not be broken. Excitement level in the proposal must be maintained. Make objective smart. Okay, these days so many smart things are happening. So if you are making objective smart, which means specific, measurable, attainable, result oriented and time bound. So if you could convert your objectives into SMART objectives, that really helps. And you need to prepare methodology for that and see how you are going to have the preliminary questionnaires, targeted beneficiaries, those kind of things. You need to have budget strategy. Normally, evaluators would like to see more of science than the budget. And only after they are satisfied with your science, they would like to see the budget page. But still it is recommended that you need to connect your budget with your objectives. What kind of experiment you would like to do, what kind of resources are required for that. Several times people will say, how much I can apply? Can I apply 40 lakh, 90 lakh, 100, 2 crores? Don't go by that. See by what is the objective. And if your objective is good, plan your budget accordingly. Of course, this would require, for time management, objective achieving, you require a PERT chart. And that would help you understanding. Now, don't feel that if you have given a task 2 months and it is taking 3 months and it's bad. No. But it just gives you idea that you take longer time than you originally estimated. Maybe some other activity for which you have planned a longer time, you can do it much faster. That is also possible. But it gives you overall idea how you can do. The most important part is doing the SWOT analysis. You should know why you should be given that project and why you should be denied that project. This is something each one of you should consider, that what are 2 or 3 points in my project which merits and why it can go into the dustbin. So if you have done your own introspection, this would be helpful. You could submit it online, but sorry, this should have come little earlier. Mentoring is very important, especially for the young faculty. You should go to a person who have submitted project earlier. Not submitted, who have been awarded project earlier. Because this fellow understands what funding agencies are looking at. Okay, and could guide you to improve your project. One thing I must reiterate, there should be no fear. Nobody is going to steal your idea because they have got their basket full of ideas. So they would do their things. Only thing, they would read your proposal and make their comments. Now, if for some reason your proposal is rejected, don't give up, get reviews. Now, these days reviews are not coming. What is coming is one-line statement. Okay, but if you are not satisfied with that one-line statement, there is always a name of the officer who has handled your project. You can request that fellow to give you detailed comment so that you can improve in the better things. Okay, and then reevaluate, revise, and submit it either to same scheme next year or maybe some other scheme by some other funding agencies. So that option is always yours, whom to go next. Sorry. These are some of the reasons why projects get rejected. One, as I said, grants are always scheme specific. You need to understand the purpose. You have not followed the guideline. Idea is not compelling. Idea is good, but when you are making presentation, you were not convincing. Your body language, your enthusiasm, that is what I was talking about. Your approach road is not good. You are overtly ambitious. Narrative and budget don't correspond. Bad presentations. So these could be several things. So reviewers may or may not appreciate your idea. That is the hard fact in science these days. But reviewers do not have a conflict of interest. That is what we are trying, that there should be no person, unfortunately in world of science, we have love or hate relationship. So somebody reads your name, so say, yeah, he's a very good worker. but some other fellow, by reading the same name, oh, one more. That kind of thing is there. So that is why we are looking for odd number of referees. We are looking, if there is a sharp difference, then it should be corrected. So we are trying to ensure that there is no conflict of interest. So referees are providing assessment of material you have given in the proposal. So that is something we are trying our best. Don't take referee's opinion personally. Don't feel that, okay, this has done that, so I'll take care of him next time. No. You need to have a professional approach. You need to understand, if my proposal has gone down, what could be the reason? As I said, if you are not convinced with the regret letter, you ask for the detailed comment. You can counter if you feel it's not good. You can improve upon for your next submission. So have professional approach. That is something very important. So thank you very much for the patience hearing. And if you have any questions, immediately, I don't know what is the time permitted. Yes, please, sir. Yes. Maybe you can.
Sir, here is an announcement, sir. May we reserve the questions for another 1 hour or so, because we have another session. Sir will be joining with us around 12:15 once again. So during that time, okay. Okay, sir.
Professor, thank you for your exhaustive deliberation. Of course, in the last, before a few seconds, no, you have very clearly said that some of the institutions are able to getting fund from the center. Very particularly of in the state universities, we are struggling. Though we have a very crystal clear, innovative ideas, we are supposed to be, we feel we are such a way neglected or discriminated. See, the inclusivity is in a democratic state. We have to go by the issues rather than the state or anything else, I feel. If we want to overcome such kind of a discriminatory process, no, what would be your thought process? What would be our thought process could be presented to the nation as well as the funding agencies? This is what my idea.
Yeah. So I must say, more than 80 to 90% proposal are going by scientific merit. And if you have seen one of the slide, I said, we are also doing consideration on geography, gender, and other issues. These are smaller corrections, because those who cannot make, for example, you remember SCRB was there, we brought in a special scheme called SURE, excluding all premier institutions. They cannot participate, only state level universities. The idea was, we need to inculcate and nurture our second tier institution also. So government, both whether it is central or state, they are aware of the fact and they are trying to give solutions whatever is feasible. But remember, being government, they cannot be partial to a group. We need to see its universality. Okay, we need to maintain a character. So we can bring in one conditions like we brought, only state university are eligible. Okay, so we can launch program like that. Second, when we are comparing proposals which are roughly similar, suppose from a premier institution like IIT, ISC, or one from university, we'll prefer a university fellow. Because IIT, ISC, one, of course, they are getting lot of proposal. But if their level of research is at par with university, we shall prefer university. So these are small things we are doing. We cannot put it in black and white. Okay, but idea is all of us should be given research opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.